You are up Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, A.J. Brown. What are you doing with this pick?
Oh, well, due to the fact that I already have Lamar Jackson, it is a 1.75 tight end premium. The first 3 tight ends are off the board. Do I go Mark Jackson, Zay Flowers, or outside the box here?
Mark Jackson, he's a good basketball player.
Mark Andrews. He wasn't even that good of a basketball player. He was all right. Here's the thing. I was about to just pull the trigger on Mark Andrews, but hot take, I don't think he's a difference maker. I think his one season was an outlier, and if you look at his scoring, it was.
And I think there's a good chance, looking at this board and look at the other tight ends on the board, I think there's a very good chance he would come back to you in the 5th if you wanted. The way things have gone, typical leagues, he doesn't have that name cachet to where it's like I have to get him. So I think you'd be safe passing on him, but go ahead.
We're going to pass on him. I hate doing it because they are on the same team, even though I'm not always worried about that. Like I said, Devonta Smith. I'm going to take him over Zay Flowers and Tank Dell. Devonta Smith. He probably should have gone off the board before now.
Yeah, now this is a team where you may consider a Jalen Hurts trade, potentially. Never know. But now you got 2 Eagles. I have Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, and Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm going to get real spicy here, Shane. With what I said earlier about Drake London, we're going to double down and we're going to draft Kyle Pitts. Maybe it's a little early, but I think the same argument applies with taking Drake London. And I do think potentially this could push the board if somebody else wants to get a tight end. For me, there's a tier break here at tight end between Kyle Pitts. There's one more that I would consider to be in the tier where I'm interested in drafting, not just for their production, but their value. Then it drops off. So I'm going to lock down Kyle Pitts. I prefer Kyle Pitts to Dalton Kincaid. That might be a hot take, but he's still 2 years younger than Dalton Kincaid. Some people would take Dalton Kincaid in place of Kyle Pitts. I think you could go with either one. But the key is I've built behind 2 quarterbacks, what I think could be a difference maker at running back and what I think could be a difference maker at tight end. It's a very standard 4-round build, taking shots at the 2 positions. And I like the build because Pitts and Gibbs are 2 guys that if they play well, they don't just have production value, they also have dynasty value. Unlike the team that has like Christian McCaffrey or the team that has, whatever the older tight end or other running back is. So go Kyle Pitts, Stroud, Tyreek, Justin Fields. Is this an obvious pick here for you, Shane, to stack it up? Or were you thinking something else?
No. It's Tank Dell. And if Tank Dell would have went off the board prior to this, it would have been Nico Collins, the guy that drafted CJ Stroud in the first round. I was sweating a little bit when Nico went off the board because I went, Tank's next. Is he going to make it to me? I hope Tank makes it to me. You could argue Zay Flowers over him. You could argue Rashee Rice, but I don't know that you could come up with a strong argument for either of those players over him right here, considering that this gets you the stack as well. All things being equal, I think they're pretty equal, but you have the stack.
Yeah, and I think it makes it very easy for the CJ Stroud manager to stack with a Texans receiver in this round. Maybe you're one of the teams that's willing to trade up a couple spots to get the stack, but I like it. You have a lot of upside in that room with Tyreek, Justin Fields, and then the stack between Stroud and Tank Dell. So I like that build thus far. So Pat Mahomes, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. This is the team that is selecting here. Man, kind of feels like I got to just take best player available. And I don't really want to take a quarterback because going in, I know the team ahead of me already has Brock Purdy and Josh Allen. So I don't necessarily want to give them a free pick by drafting a quarterback, knowing they're probably not going to take one. Let me ask you what you would do in this position, Shane, knowing that Josh Allen is on the team there. If you were looking tight end, would you take Dalton Kincaid here to snipe, or would you go best player available? I'm down between DJ Moore, Dalton Kincaid. Do you think receivers flat enough here where you would snipe them on the Kincaid Allen snack?
I don't know that I'm doing that much damage to the other team by sniping Kincaid from them. And I understand it's a stack, but DJ Moore would be just fine on that team. So I don't know that would make them significantly weaker by me taking Kincaid here. That said, if you don't take Kincaid, there's 1,000% chance that this person is going to take Kincaid.
Well, it's a math game.
And you know that. Like, that is the person drafting right here. When you're looking, even if you just go off ranking, if you're one of those people that likes to look at rankings and see where players are ranked, and at 1.75, you probably have Kincaid right around.
Yeah, no, I definitely do. I already took Pitts. I think Kincaid would represent the same type of investment. I think there's 2 receivers I would take, Rashee Rice and DJ Moore. I have Mahomes. Consideration for Kincaid, consideration for the next rookie pick off the board, but I'll take Rashee Rice because I already have Mahomes. I don't love it. Doesn't feel like a great spot, but I made my bed. I went Mahomes and then I passed on QB twice. So I'm right here, sitting here going, I'm just kind of drafting a placeholder. I think Rice is maybe a little overvalued, but, I think it's a fine pick given where he's going and what other receivers off the board. So, but no hesitation from Shane. He's locking in a receiver here at the 412. Yep.
Just took DJ Moore. And that's completely predicated on the fact that he has the pick on the turn, or she has to pick on the turn. And if they want to take Kincaid there, they can, or the 108. But yeah, DJ Moore here. It's a weird team. Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, I like the quarterbacks, obviously. And then we add Bijan and DJ Moore. It's an interesting team. Interesting. All these teams are kind of fun.
They're very balanced because, well, you and I are picking each one. So there's not somebody in there that's going completely rogue or going completely off the wall. Although Shane did go rogue with the team that has all rookie picks. So
well, we have one team that has all rookie picks and then another team that's all wide receivers. And not surprisingly, yes, those are the teams that I picked.
Well, it
also broke that way. But it broke that way.
We've spent hours doing this show to go through these 4 rounds. And it's very clear if you look at the board, if you knew who picked what, which one is the manic side and which one is just the, let's build the proper roster construction. Almost all my teams have a roster construction theme to it. Then you look at the ones out, which ones just went screw it, all receivers, Shane's, which ones went screw it, all picks, Shane's.
Here's the thing though, right? If we were going through this, we'd have another 25 to 26 rounds of rosters where the roster construction can get straight. And that's something that I would start to look at later. Again, all things being equal, if there's a running back on the board and a wide receiver on the board, quarterback on the board, I'm going quarterback or running back as wide receiver or tight end.
So I come to you, Shane, and let's just say hypothetically we're doing $100 buy-in in this league, okay? I come to you and I show you these 4 rounds. Nothing else has changed. What team on here would you go, damn, I might pay $150 for that start? Is there any team where if you saw this, you would go, give me that team? Knowing what's on the board, I haven't traded away my future picks or anything like that. Like, which team on here would you go, damn, I might pay an extra 50% of the buy-in just to have that start? Is there any teams that stand out to you?
I mean, I'm partial to the rookie pick one. I really love that one just because it's got so much flexibility of what they can do. You know what I mean? They could go in any direction they want.
So if someone came to you and said, Shane, I'm willing to give you this team, just give me my buy-in back and, tip me a little extra, you would be intrigued by the team that has all them rookie picks.
I'm intrigued, man. Give me 2 top 4 picks. That's a beautiful thing. Look, I know 105 is what we've talked as the tier break, but the 104 is the real, okay, I could get two quarterbacks out of this if I wanted to. I can get 2 wide receivers if I want to. It's just, so much flexibility right there.
2 of the 3 that I would say I could potentially pay would be the ones that I drafted. But the one I'll abstain from the ones I took because I really like the Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence 105. I think that has a lot of flexibility. Add to the fact you already have Waddle on that team too. I love the Kyler, Justin Herbert, McCaffrey, Drake London. I think there's a ton of upside on that team as well. Of yours, though, I think I'm kind of intrigued by Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, and then the A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. I have a team that won the title last year with Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, and the Eagles receivers. So I think that's a unique team that got some good value at all the spots, right? Devontae Smith's the wide receiver 11. You got him at the wide receiver 19. You got Dak in the spot where we already had that conversation on Dak. So that would probably be the one for me where I'd be like, I kind of like that build.
I'll tell you what, though, that Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Christian McCaffrey, Drake London one, definitely feels like not a dark horse for the title, but someone that's going to be like, damn, I didn't even see that coming until retrospect. And you're like, shit. Yeah, they are really good.
It feels bad in the startup when you hit Christian McCaffrey that high, but then you look back at your team and you're like, man, if he hits and I didn't even have to pay like one of my top 2 assets to get him, it looks real good if he ends up being what he's been. Yeah.
And that's what was going to be my point. It might feel real bad drafting him in the startup until he's dropping 25 points a week. Once you look at your roster and go, oh, wait a minute, here's a guy that's going to be 25 points a week. I basically got a QB1 in the 3rd or 4th round, wherever we drafted him here, 3rd round.
From what I've seen, the 108 would have gone off the board a little earlier than this. Do you think the picks would have gone before the Rashee Rices, the DJ Moores, just the way that the picks are valued right now?
Yeah, the way that I've seen picks going in the startups, I think the picks would go off, and it's not sequential order, but they would they would definitely have gone off the board before Rashee Rice. Probably Tank Dell, Jalen Waddle, maybe Nico Collins. It's funny because these are all wide receivers that I'm looking looking to buy with those picks. But yeah, the startups that we've done so far, those picks are already off the board by the 4th round.
Who would be your pick in round 5? Would it be Dalton Kincaid, or would you go a different direction, knowing if you pass on him, you're never getting him?
Yeah, you'll never get him. That's fine. We'd take the 108. This team has no flexibility. You know what I mean? And this is where I start getting into the draft like, wow, I'm going to be shut out of rookie picks, which I never want. That's a horrible, horrible feeling, being shut out on rookie picks, because then when the rookie draft starts, it's hard to stop yourself to overpay just to get into it.
Beside the players, I mean, you can look at the board, but remember some of the nuances that we talked about throughout. The spots where it feels awful to trade back for just a single 3rd round pick. But then also when you're on the clock and you go, man, there's 4 receivers and I don't care which one I get. Why would I not trade back for a 3rd? And a lot of times people get paralyzed saying they do not want to give the person that wants to move up what they want. So they don't take the 3rd. They don't take that 2nd, 3rd swap. They're almost arrogant in a way, like it's not enough. I have to have my principles. You know what I mean? I'm not selling myself that cheap. Yet they'll look back and go, damn, how did I leave this draft with no picks and I don't have enough rookie picks to buy spot starts during the season? Man, I wish I would have had an extra 2nd or an extra 3rd laying around. This is the time to get it. And it's not trying to get them in the later rounds. You got to be willing to fade the flat ranges at the front of those tiers early on in the startup for a price that's not going to feel awesome. It's not just Shane and I making all the picks. There's 11 other individual minds that all have different methodologies and they all have different approaches. And they may go, all right, I can't pass on a quarterback. So what if you take a 3rd?
You got to remain fluid, right? I let Scott talk me out of a pick. Hopefully that's a conversation you have in your mind before you make the pick, though, right? You go through those conversations in your mind. And even if you disagree with something that we've done in the draft, at least think through the process. Think through the next 3 people after me don't have quarterbacks or do have quarterbacks. So that should affect my pick, because that means I can do this here. And on the way back, I should be able to do this. Just be fluid. I generally have a rough idea of what I want to do when I go into a startup. And then I kind of let the draft and the people around me, I let that dictate if I can actually get there without forcing it. And then I also look at, all right, if the draft is going completely a different way, I need to readjust my thought process and see what else I can do.
Very true words spoken by Shane. Let the draft board kind of emerge itself. Let everybody kind of show their hand, and then you react. Be the quickest to react. Study the trends, study the tendencies of the other managers in your league, and that's going to dictate what you do the rest of the way. So I'm sure we'll do more startup content focused on maybe more like the middle rounds, roster building, roster construction. You can check out the tools Destination Devi has, the War Tools, Trinity tool, looking at, how to kind of value. We're going to get into the next 4 rounds, Shane, would be a lot of just rookie picks and placeholder receivers. And you're going, who do I take between wide receiver 20 and wide receiver 24? And who's better? And that's where something like the Trinity tool comes in. So check out those on destinationdevi.com, our Discord, patreon.com/allgas. Join in there for more content and more startup content to come soon on Manic Chill. We are out.